are carnivores. The fox, yep. The hawk.
I love teaching ninth grade. I especially love teaching the, I guess, lower level kids and the ELL kids, because a lot of those kids come from crazy situations that we don't necessarily know about. And my philosophy for teaching, I very strongly believe that every kid should have an adult in school that they know they can count on and is going to be there for them and support them through high school. And especially with the freshmen, they're still trying to figure everything out. So if you can make the freshmen feel like they have someone that expects a lot out of them and has high expectations for them, and if they respect that, then they're going to want to work hard for you. So my goal is always to build those relationships with my kids so that they don't want to let me down and they want to do their very best for me. Some of the lower level kids don't have that intrinsic motivation to do well in school, and they don't always get it from home. So I feel like having someone in school that expects that out of them is a really important thing, especially for those low level kids.
And where does the energy start in our energy pyramid?
The bottom.
At the bottom. What are those things we have at the bottom called? Producers, or they could also be called autotrophs. And they are otherwise known as what kinds of things? Plants. Right? On your little pictures, do you see a picture of a plant?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a little picture of grass. Right? You can go back and color these a little bit later, but we're just going to cut them out and glue them down so we can.
So today in biology we were learning about energy pyramids and starting kind of a longer activity where they actually build a large, more complicated food web. And one thing that you will see me using every day in my classroom is our interactive notebooks. We started using interactive notebooks as a way to organize their information, but it really became a really great instructional tool because it allows kids to have these mini brain breaks within class so that they're not just sitting in place and spacing out with notes or whatever it is. And it gives me a lot of time to ask them questions and kind of see where they're at and kind of walk around and monitor their progress. So they think that they're, just cutting, pasting, or coloring something when really they feel like they're just doing that, but at the same time, they're answering a bunch of questions from me. I'm asking them to think more critically about some of the content, and I have a better idea of where my students are at. I think for my kids, it gives them, they feel like they're getting away with something. They feel like they're just having fun, but really they're learning a lot of stuff at the same time, and they're keeping themselves organized so we can always refer back to it later if we need to. And then this is the foldable that we finished at the beginning of class today. It's an energy pyramid, and each level shows a lot of different information. There's a lot of vocabulary, a lot of information, but it's presented in a way that organizes it for the kids. So it's not just a paragraph of definitions and words. It puts it in a format that makes it a little easier to understand and connect some of these things together. So we have producers at the bottom, but then on the inside we also have autotrophs. We talk about how it always starts a food chain. It's next to a picture of grass. There's a sun. So the kids can start to make those connections on how all of those things are related together. And then the activity that we started today and are actually going to finish over the next couple of days, we're looking at a bunch of food chains, and eventually we'll be building it into a giant food web that'll take up 2 pages in their notebook. Today we were just looking at those organisms, determining what they ate, which trophic levels they can be found. We did a little bit of work on how to read and fill in different types of data tables, did a little bit of color coding. I really just try to present the information in as many ways as possible to the students that are in my class.
All right. What percent of the energy does that plant currently have?
100.
100%. How much of that energy can it actually pass on?
10%.
10%, right? Where does the other 90% go? Heat, right? It's lost its heat. So that plant, right now, at the bottom, has 100% of the energy. Great. We also have an organism for this second level. What do we call these different levels again? Do you remember that fancy word? What are those different levels called? It might be on the board somewhere.
Low energy.
What kind of level?
Trophic level.
Not tropic. Trophic, with like an F. right? A trophic level. Go to the pH, because you know pH is right? It's a trophic level, like Stephanie. These are different trophic levels. The first trophic level is always going to have what?
100%.
100% of the energy, that's true. It's always going to have what kind of organism? A plant. It's always going to have a plant. The second trophic level, what kind of organism is going to be on the second trophic level?
Grasshopper.
It could be an insect. What kind of things do they eat?
A herbivore.
Rat.
Yeah, it's going to be like an herbivore, right? Or maybe an omnivore. But an herbivore, something that eats the plant. On our 4 organisms that we have left, which one is going to go on the second level? The grasshopper.